Hey guys, I am a little late today because my morning was nuts. So I have maybe only about 20 minutes to go live today, but I'll go live tonight as usual. So if any of you are here, hey there, just talking about loneliness, abandonment, and isolation, which we talked about last night when being live. You guys asked me to make a video, so I just made a video on the abandonment, isolation. What do you do when you feel lonely? The one lesson that I learned when I was feeling lonely is that nobody gives a shit. Like, nobody really cares. If you just tell people flat out, I'm alone, somebody help me, the way we're wired is like we have this knee-jerk reaction of, well, you're not the only one who has problems, so don't talk to me. So we don't really readily reach out to people if we say, I need this or I need that, because we perceive it as a selfish request. So for the longest time, I felt like the whole world turned away from me, because when I confronted my dad about sexually abusing me and he admitted to it, then my family turned away from me pretty much. And they said, yeah, you're fucking lying. And so I wanted to commit suicide because there was nothing else to live for. And then for a long time, I just didn't want to talk to people. Do you ever have that feeling when you don't even want to open your mouth? Like, you just are so numb that you never feel that you can relate to anyone at all, that anyone can understand you at all. So there's not even any point in trying to speak. But then after a while, I felt so utterly alone that it was painful. It became, I became my own little child inside of me that was so lonely, it was screaming. So I found that when I said, hey, I need help, or somebody help, that people didn't really care. But when I said, this is what loneliness feels like. So I didn't talk about me. I just felt about the experience, right, of being alone. All of a sudden, I found other people who felt exactly the same. They told me, oh my God, I feel the same. So I made this video this morning to tell you from our conversation last night when I went live. So many of you said, hey, make a video on abandonment, sense of abandonment, loneliness, isolation, and how after you've been through trauma and so much shit in your life, you come back to the world and you begin relating to the world again. You come back to even talking to people again, So I'm gonna open it up to you. Chime in, ask questions. I have another 15 minutes. I kind of went late today. Usually I'm here around 9:30 a.m. Pacific time, but my morning was crazy, so I'm a little late. So that's my story pretty much in a nutshell. Is I really didn't want to live because I felt so lonely that I thought nobody is ever going to understand me. And it took me many years to understand that that is not true, that there are so many people exactly like me, and that the problem is not the loneliness itself. The problem is not my family turning away from me. The problem is not about people not caring. The problem is that I carried it in me. Good evening. It's your evening time. It's my afternoon kind of time. The problem was the silence. The silence was what absolutely crippled me, and it crippled all the other people. This is something that's crippling you too, but a very particular silence. So once again, if you just shout into the void and you say, I need help, I'm lonely, I feel abandoned, maybe a few people will say, oh, poor you. But we're so busy in our lives, and unfortunately we've destroyed the sense of community. Like, if you look around it, we no longer live with extended family or grandparents or so forth. It's more where I come from in Russia, it's more common actually to live in a big family with people, but it's no longer the case, especially in America. So you feel alone, even though you're on your phone, you're in your car, physically you're removed from people. And after a while, you don't want to make an effort to talk, because it seems like, what's the point, And after a while, you don't want to get out of bed because you go, what's the point? And then after a while, you go, do I even want to breathe? Like, what's the point of living? And that's when it gets really dark. And I've been down that rabbit hole. I was suicidal for about 2 years. I never actually got to the point of trying to kill myself. I got really close. I was walking around with pills because I had insomnia, so I had these really strong pills. And I really wanted to cut my stomach open, because it felt like this pain of loneliness was just too much to bear. Like, I wanted to get rid of it. And so that's what this video is about today, is to hopefully help you save years of pain hopefully I can shorten it for you. First of all, if you're feeling lonely right now, you can type in the comments and we'll all jump on it and we'll say, we're here for you. You're not alone. Second of all, I'm here for you. So I've been silent and I kind of hid from people for about 10 years because I was done with people, period. But, and then I thought, well, that would be really selfish. Like, there's so much I can give. So now I've healed enough where I have enough to give. So that's lesson number 2, is if you don't feel like you have enough to give, if you haven't healed yourself first, there you go. Kid Belair says, I'm very lonely. Can everybody please right now tag Kid Belair and say, I'm here for you. You're not alone anymore. You're not alone anymore. Can everybody please do that? Please go jump. Let's flood Kid. And hey, whatever your name is, where you're from, if you're willing to tell us, you are not alone. We're in it together. And that is what we've lost. I mean, this is why we're here right now on TikTok. You guys are like my new family. You care. There you go. I'm here for you, Chivelli. Thank you. Please talk to Kid. Look at the comments above. So the lesson I learned is that your biological family is not necessarily the family you want. I mean, most of the time, thank you. Please, everybody tell Kid Belair you are not alone. Your biological family was not your choice. If you were lucky, you got great mom and dad, hopefully. I wasn't so lucky. On the surface, they were terrific. My father is a writer. My mom is a fashion designer. They were kind of crazy creative. Although I've never seen them together, not once. No, I'm lying. Once when I had my daughter as a teen mom. And so they came to pick me up from the hospital. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for saying it. The name is Veronica. I come from a Russian family. Let me scroll. And it's interesting how many toxic things I had to unlearn living here. Yes, I'm with you. It's the thing is that it's been so normalized. So growing up, I didn't even know that it was bad. Everybody pretty much was in the same place. And my family was dysfunctional and very broken up. But I had what I had, right? As a kid, I had to somehow live. So I didn't understand that anything was wrong until I learned there's another way of being. And so the loneliness, what I understood was that my family was never there. It was like this illusion. And so that was my first step to heal, to go, wow, I have to build my own family. I don't really have a family. I mean, I have biological people who gave me life. I have people who tried caring for me to the best of their ability because they're all hurt people. But it's not a functional family. And so I had to create my family. You guys right here, you are my family. You actually care. When I posted my happy birthday, my birthday video, you guys wished me more happy birthday wishes that probably I've gotten throughout my whole life from my family. That video got over 500,000 views. And there's probably about 250,000 comments because half of it is me trying to respond to you, telling me happy birthday, happy birthday. I was like, oh my God, you are my family. But see, I wouldn't have gotten it if I didn't share with you what I felt like. So let me scroll back up. Thank you so much for the videos. Thank you so much for coming here, Guacamole. I love your name. My abuse, you talk about it. Yeah, so I talk about it to break the silence because this is part of the pain. You're lonely because you're silent and everybody else around you silent. You think, well, what happened to me only happened to me, which is bullshit. They didn't, but nobody talks about it. Yeah, I'm live now. Hey, you're Luli, right? I remember. Eat my booty hole. Did I remember correctly? Are you Luli? Yep, self-acceptance is key. So my morning was crazy because my community is growing, which is Emberville is my community where we heal each other through storytelling and writing. It's in my bio, the link to the website. So we just introduced more classes. And this morning a class was led by an Ember, as we call our members, from UK. So UK time, I had to wake up at 6 in the morning and be there from 7 to 9 for the class. And that's why I wasn't able to make a video for you and be live. So I'm live now. Yay, you're Luli. Hey, Silver Lily Petal. That is so beautiful. Silver Lily Petal. What's your actual name? Let's see. So I have my next meeting in 15 minutes, which means we have 10 more minutes until I have to abort it because I have to go around pee, and prepare for the meeting actually. But I'm here and I'm going to be here later tonight, approximately from 9 to 10 p.m. Pacific time, Thank you. It's nice to meet you, Teresa. After my ballet class is 7 to 8:30, and then I kind of stretch, and so then I usually join here. I might go maybe not all the way till 10 p.m. like last night. I went over, and that was a little, I didn't get enough sleep, so I might crash earlier. But if you want to come tonight to my other live, come prepared. Basically, the idea to meet at night is that you can come to me with all your questions and tell me what you're struggling with right now, so I can relate to that in my own life experience and hopefully find a hack or a tip or a trick or something that worked for me. So then the next morning, I'll make a video for you. Like, for example, this morning, just now, I made a video on loneliness, abandonment, and isolation, because last night when we talked, that kind of was the topic. That was like the theme of our talk, you know, for everybody. So, good question, Monica. I'm on is cats. Do you have friends from childhood? I do, but I'm not in touch with them. I do have a few classmates from like 6th grade, 5th grade, and I still am in touch with them somewhat, but not really, not often. You know, it's kind of like we wish happy birthday maybe to each other on Facebook. I do go back to Russia every 3 or 4 years or so, but it's very triggering for me, traumatic, and it costs a lot of money. Plus, there's a huge time difference. Every time I come back, it takes me about 2 weeks to get back into normal state. So I try not to go too often. Whatever I'm sick says, can you talk about abusive relationship? Guacamole, yeah, I love you, Guacamole. Come to the life. Abusive, what kind of abusive relationship? I mean, I've been in many abusive relationships. The first one was practically my family, which was my mom and my dad divorced, and I lived with my mom first, and it was like a household of women. It was like my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, my aunt, and then my aunt's daughter, and then my mom's other daughter is my half-sister. Even the dogs were women, you know. We had dogs and cats and rats and a hedgehog. So it was like this household full of women. And one thing I'll never forget is that it was always dirty. There were dishes up this high in the sink. And as a little girl, I really, really, really tried to make it clean. And I remember breaking down and crying because I simply could not clean the apartment. And then women would parade naked because there were no men, right? So they would go take a shower. And so it was like these naked women's bodies and this dirt. And it was just... Sometimes it looked nice. They would make an effort, but it was just, you know. And then my dad's family was in the middle of the city because my mom's place was kind of like on the edge, and it was a completely different. So it was like really nice household with proper dinners and breakfast. You know, I had a second wife, and my other half sister was there. So to me, that was like a miracle. Like I always waited for these visits because, you know, I got beautiful food and the nice plates. And anyway, hey, hold on, let me scroll up because there's been a bunch of comments. Wonderful idea. I understood the video I just seen. Honestly think you should try. Yes, please, if you have any more questions for these videos, because I kind of make them really fast and I haven't figured out yet how to edit so I can script it. I don't really script it. I just, you ask me a question, I sit and I think about it, and I go on one breath. So if there's something that I miss, please ask in comments. I try to comment back as much as I can. Hey, Vivid Dreams. I guess it is Vivid Dreams. What's your name? I remember Eat My Booty Hole something is Luli, so I'm trying to remember your names as you comment. I have another 5 minutes or so before I'll have to abort and run. Go my, you know, do my restroom run and get ready for my meeting. But what I was talking about is if you want to tell me in more detail what would be most helpful. Oh, Shams. Oh my God. I know you told me it's Shams and I forgot, from Saudi Arabia, right? Oh shit. Okay, keep reminding me and I'll remember, hopefully. So come tonight and let's workshop together on the shit that's bothering you most. And I'll try to share what I did, what happened to me. Oh, that's a good question. How do I stop overeating? Okay, I still actually struggle with that. Baby Dreams, like, it's okay. I'm working hard, Shams. I'll try to remember. Like right now, this whole week, I was just eating goat kefir, which I showed you yesterday. I don't know if you guys came to my live. You asked me, what are you eating? What's your skin routine? Blah, blah, blah. So I showed you what I ate. So this whole week I'm sort of fasting. Is all I'm eating is like a bottle of goat kefir for a whole day. So it's like a glass in the morning, glass for lunch, glass for dinner, glass before bedtime, and a few of those carnivore crisps that I showed you. And then on the weekend I binge. I sort of get so hungry, and I haven't, some days are better, some days are worse, because I grew up really hungry. Like I grew up, there would not be much food in the house, or if there was food, then I would start to stuff my face because I was so afraid that food would not be there. And that fear, yeah, you overeat because of anxiety. I not only overeat on the weekends, I overshop. Like it is so hard for me to walk into a grocery store, and let's say I know I only have like $20 budget wise, because right now my money is pretty much non-existent because I've put all my money into a startup. I'm not paying myself and I'm pretty much broke at the moment. So I'm like, okay, I only have $20. And I go over, it's like I have to buy this and this and this. And oh my God, what if there's not going to be any food tomorrow? It's like, Jesus Christ, the store is like 5 minutes away. Like if you need something, you won't starve. But you can't convince your brain. Your brain is still in that childhood body. And the brain is like, oh my God, there's not going to be any food. Oh my God, oh my God, So I mean, I can share with you what I'm working on. For me, it's still a work in progress. I have an app. It's called Keto app, and I track my food. So I found that if I plan my food ahead of time in the morning, then I stick with it and then I don't overeat. But sometimes it blows. Like I got my boyfriend got me an ice cream maker at home. So now I make my own ice cream, and oh my God, it is delicious because I use only honey, no sugar, stuff like that. And so I ate too much. The first time I made it, I was puking and I kept eating that ice cream and I felt bad afterwards. But yeah, I can talk about that if you want. Yeah, if you, and also food for me, the reason why I overeat is a source of comfort. Because in my family, when everything was broken, they were like, no, I love you is exchanged, or, warmth. The only time when I felt normal was when people sat down to eat, because eating was like this ritual. My grandmother cooked and like everybody sat down, and that is why it's comfort for me. Sitting down to eat is like, it seems like the only normal time I've experienced in my family when I was a kid. Not the only one, of course. I'm kind of making it here black and white. There were many times, but it was one of those. And so that's why food is forever linked for me with comfort. When I was depressed, and actually when I divorced my ex-husband and I was alone, you know what I would do? I'd go to restaurants and I'd order like an order just for me. And the waiters always looked at me funny because I'd pick these fancy restaurants. I did have a job back then, so I could afford it. So I would go and I would order this exquisite meal just for me. And it made me feel good. I actually recommend it to you if you want. Being served and not having to clean up and eating just this exquisite food just for me. It was healing for me back then. So once again, for tonight, come if you can. After overeating, I feel ashamed and guilty. Yeah, horrible. Or overspending money on food. I'm still battling with that. Like, for example, my son is still living with me. He's 17. And so when he's here, we do the half and half with my ex. I get so scared he'll be hungry, which is my fear. He's not actually hungry. He has a job. He can buy food. And take this. I don't believe it. My brain tells me feed him, right? Because he'll be hungry. Oh my God. So then I go and I buy too much food. And what do I do when he leaves? I eat that food because then I'm scared it's going to go bad. I can't throw food away. I'm working on that. I once threw away like what was it? I think it was an apple or a pear, something that's gone just a little, mushy. And I was like, I can't believe it. I threw away a pear. It's like, oh my God, what a crime. Because again, I grew up in this culture of never throwing away food. And I felt like I committed some kind of a sin, Thank you, Amber, Brianna. Thank you so much. I'm here for you. You didn't miss anything. Come tonight. Any tips to slow the mind down? Oh my God, that's a good one. You know what? We're going to talk about it tonight. Tips, because my mind goes bzzz. Tips on, hold on, let me write this down. Slowing down your mind. Okay, come tonight to, I got to run, you guys. I have a meeting and whoop, I heard that somebody just dinged, which means that they joined Zoom. I love you all. I love you to death. Come back. Okay, come back live tonight, 9 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. Not exactly 9 to 10. So if I'm not there, don't freak out, okay? I'll show up maybe if I'm a little late. But yeah, come back and ask questions. Comment in the video if it was helpful or what you want me to make the future videos on, okay? I love you, I love you, I love you. I'll see you tonight. Bye.